Hi, Pocket. If you're a Monster Hunter veteran, you've probably seen this monster before. If not, and Wilds is your first engagement with the series, don't worry. You too will be meeting Mizutsune very soon in the title update coming out on the 25th of March. Either way, if you're curious about Mizutsune, I'll be glad to tell you all I know about this beautiful monster before we set out to hunt it. Mizutsune's first appearance in the Monster Hunter series was in Generations. After a series of quests at Yukumo Village, the hunter may face off against Mizutsune, who is described in the monster log as a specially evolved leviathan with a sleek, lithe body. Mizutsune can secrete a peculiar fluid that covers its foes in immobilizing bubbles. Once its foe's movement is impaired, it closes in with spry, dance-like movements. Not only does this allude to Mizutsune's unique blight effect, which we'll get to soon, it's a very accurate description of its behavior. Mizutsune and Chameleos were always my favorite monsters from Generations because of how uniquely they moved compared to the rest of the cast. But if anything can be the opposite of Chameleos' stuttery, uncanny strides, it's Mizutsune's elegant, bubbly slides. Since then, Mizutsune has appeared in both Monster Hunter Rise and Monster Hunter Stories 2, but it was notably absent in World, so this will be our first time really seeing Mizutsune on the big, high-resolution screen. Mizutsune is a Leviathan, so it will be joining the existing Leviathans in Wilds, those being Balahara, Hirabami, Jindahan, and Uthduna. It is uncommon for Leviathans to have fur, a trait we don't see on any of our current Leviathans, but it's far from the only difference. The Mizutsunes hunted by the guild in lore are all male. Female Mizutsune have not been seen in any of the games, and they're described as having shorter fins with black fur instead of the male's usual pink or purple fur. Also, important note, the tail is severable, so tail severers have at it. Like most water-related monsters, Mizutsune can inflict water blight, which turns your stamina bar blue and makes it deplete faster. But that's not the only blight Mizutsune can inflict. One of Mizutsune's most unique points is its ability to inflict bubble blight. When struck by certain Mizutsune attacks, a hunter would contract minor bubble blight. On the surface, this just makes your hunter look like they came out of a bubble bath. Functionally, however, minor bubble blight was actually a buff. It worked a bit like the armor skill's Constitution and Evade window, reducing stamina depletion and extending invulnerability frames on dodges. A blight being a good thing sounds like Gormagala's Frenzy. Oh yeah, bubble blight can be really fun. But if a hunter is struck with another bubble inflicting attack while in minor bubble blight, they would contract major bubble blight. As far as I know, you retain the bonuses from minor bubble blight alongside the major downside of sliding around when you try to switch directions. This feels a lot like the ice floor mechanics from Final Fantasy XIV, and it can make precise navigation difficult, if not impossible, in the middle of an intense battle with a Mizutsune. Similar to the Gormagala's armor granting the skill Antivirus to reward hunters for interacting with the Frenzy mechanic, Mizutsune's armor grants Bubbly Dance. This skill not only greatly reduces the amount of hindrance from major bubble blight, it also attaches even more bonuses to the previous benefits of minor bubble blight, including an effect like Evade Extender. These effects stacked with Constitution, Evade Window, and Evade Extender, meaning a bubbly hunter is perhaps the most slippery target on the battlefield. This makes a lot of sense, as you'll get a feel hunting Mizutsune that the monster itself is an incredibly slippery and surprising target, sometimes drifting around the battlefield during its attacks. Bubbly Dance also allows a hunter to contract it on their own by dodging around. This counted other types of dodges like Lance Hops or Dual Blade Demon dodges, meaning some weapons, especially the ones who really benefit from those sorts of buffs, would often activate Bubbly Dance very easily and even accidentally. Bubbly Dance is an insanely fun skill that can really reshape how you interact with certain monsters, and I can't wait to see it in Monster Hunter Wilds and how hunters use it this time around. In Monster Hunter Rise, hunters can battle Violet Mizutsune and Apex Mizutsune, beautiful variants that take the Mizutsune battle style and color schemes in vibrant and magnificent directions. Violet Mizutsune, apart from adopting a beautiful violet color scheme, gives the bubbly, adorable water beam attacks of the ordinary Mizutsune a spicy twist. Instead of bubble foam, it creates burning puddles. It completely switches from water to fire, replacing Water Blight and Bubble Blight to inflict Fire Blight and resist down instead. The description in the monster log reads as follows. Violet Mizutsune are leviathans known for their beautiful lilac-colored fur. They use the fluid they secrete to slide around, targeting their prey with gas-filled bubbles. Though they appear graceful creatures, the facade quickly fades as they envelop themselves in pale flames and bathe their surroundings in a beautiful but deadly inferno of white-hot flame. And Apex Mizutsune is simply huge and devastating. It remains a water-type monster, but can inflict the gnarly Hellfire Blight and Blast Blight instead of the generous Bubble Blight. It has terrifying ultimate moves and is described in the monster log as a Mizutsune so mighty it was crowned in apex. Its body is covered in scars and wounds as if it had been caught in a storm, and it's seemingly always dominated by wrath and terror. Its bubbles and huge tail have no trouble sending foes packing. The call of an apex unleashes its tortured anger on nearby beasts, driving them into a frenzy. There is a final variant of Mizutsune we've seen, a deviant monster from Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. Though I've never fought it myself, still far too much a novice hunter for this great beast, it is called the Soul Seer Mizutsune. It's a beautiful blind Mizutsune, and its description from the game reads as follows. Mizutsune that has lost its eyesight but adapted to use its bubbles as another sense. Rumor says that the malice of an undying grudge burns within its closed eyes. Those it catches in its bubbles know the true meaning of its name, Soul Seer. Requires special permission to hunt. Soul Seer Mizutsune has also appeared in Monster Hunter Stories 2. Is there a variant you're most interested in? As someone who hasn't seen Soul Seer, that's probably the one I'm most interested in getting a chance to battle, and hopefully we'll see it in Wild someday. One of the things I saw in the title update video is that at the end, when the bubbles are rising around Mizutsune, I may be reading into this too much, tinfoil hat on, but to me, it sort of looks like the bubble on the left here is tinted a little bit green, and the one on the right is tinted a little bit red. In Monster Hunter Rise, Mizutsune would do this move where it produced a lot of bubbles, most of which would hurt you, but sometimes a bubble would come out green or red, which would either heal the hunter or give them a damage buff. I loved this mechanic, and I really hope it makes its way into Wilds. I felt like it really played into the give and take of Mizutsune, that Bubble Blight is just a buff until it's not, and let hunters with the precise movements gain extra benefits from understanding Mizutsune's bubble mechanics. Anywho, that's all. If there's anything I missed, or any cool trivia about Mizutsune you want to share, please let me know. I've always loved Mizutsune, and I'm very excited for them to join us in Wilds. Another old friend to introduce to all the new hunters. Very exciting. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.